For me personally, I look to artwork first and foremost that makes me go wow. And that's why when work says wow to me, it's because it's visually exciting, but it also often says something about the world we live in. I suppose to make sense out of the two galleries that I operate, one in Sydney and one in Murrurundi, the space in Sydney is what it has to be because that's what I can afford. In Murrurundi, when I've got so much land, I can show sculpture outdoors, I can show large installation works. So that you cannot do in Sydney. I guess we're a full hub or an arts hub, and we provide a full suite of services to clients. We install, we deliver, we educate. About a third of what the gallery does is advisory work, buying for private clients right across all galleries and auction houses in Australia. We have exhibitions and artists that we represent. We've got a major Danie Mellor exhibition over two distinct venues, and the venue here of course is a 19th century building, whereas Manly's much more of the big white cube where you get the interaction of the works over 20 metres. I think the nature of Paradise Gardens and the way it flows over two venues is a product of Danie kind of breaking his banks and expanding as an artist in terms of the work, its scale and the idea.
These two bodies of work have a connection in that they have similar themes. It draws upon the very kind of characteristic blue and white style that I've been exploring for some years now. And it uses the language of history to begin to examine the narrative of cultural interaction specifically, and also the landscape and this idea of country as it relates to Indigenous perspectives. My mother's family descended from the Mamu and Gadjin people in the Atherton Tablelands in northern Queensland. My father's family are also from North Queensland and first generation settlers. We believed that our family was quite normal until other children at school opened their mouths and we found that in fact there were some kind of interesting things happening. It's inevitable in some respects that what begins to happen in my work is both autobiographical but also takes into account some of the broader national and even global perspectives and traditions and histories. Blue and white is a medium that it's called transferware, and the early Spode images were drawn from, if you like, quote unquote, the Orient. And there were also exotic sorts of vignettes from the reaches of empire. So the blue was always about the transformed landscape and how that has been changed through historical interaction, through interaction of people and so on. There are splashes of colour that show naturalistic and figurative elements, that is the animals, and also the Aboriginal people, and they in that sense represent the real.
We look to our artists to be incredibly original in their own language, and that's important. Why am I here? Because I'm a historian, and the visual arts are a method for me to explain the history of humanity. And that's why Danie's work continually excites me. I can actually reach back to the 19th century and I can reach forward. I can explain cultural change, historical change. I see beauty, I see something that's a document of a world.